Welcome, everyone, to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive, honestly kind of mind-bending question. I mean, we live in a world where AI is doing these awe-inspiring things every single day, right? Writing complex code, passing medical board exams, generating hyper-realistic art in literal seconds. It is genuinely breathtaking. But behind all that processing power, behind the billions of parameters, is there actually true intelligence there? Or are we just looking at a really, really impressive illusion? Well, today we're going to explore exactly what is missing from current AI. Picture a cybernetic brain for a second. You've got this incredible, intricate structure mimicking the human mind, but right in the center, there's a glowing missing puzzle piece. It's a fundamental, hollow void in current algorithms. The core, the absolutely crucial piece that makes intelligence truly intelligent, is just completely absent. That void represents a glaring gap in our technological progress, and it's something we urgently need to understand.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the illusion of intelligence, and then we're going to break down the four main pillars of this gap: the common sense gap, lacking real-world context, the missing emotional core, and the void in intent. After that, we'll wrap up by talking about moving beyond algorithms and data. All right, part one, the illusion of intelligence, the anatomy of a missing piece. While tools like ChatGPT and Midjourney have these mind-boggling data crunching capabilities, processing data isn't the same as true comprehension. Think of it like, it's the difference between memorizing a foreign language dictionary and actually getting a joke told in that language. It's totally different. And this gap isn't just some vague philosophical feeling. It's actually made up of four specific modular pillars that algorithms currently just cannot replicate. We're talking about common sense, real-world understanding, emotional intelligence, and goals and intent. These are basically the structural walls of human cognition. Without them, the house of true intelligence simply cannot stand. Moving on to part two, the common sense gap, the absence of intuition. So, to understand why a machine that processes petabytes of data can still fail at the most basic tasks, we really have to define what common sense actually is. It's that basic, intuitive level of practical knowledge. Knowing that if you drop a glass on concrete, it's going to break, or that you literally can't push a rope. AI fundamentally lacks this because, it hasn't lived. It only knows what text patterns tell it. There is just a massive contrast here between data-driven logic and true common sense. Data-driven logic is all about the cold mechanics, processing raw facts, finding patterns. But true common sense, that requires organic, intuitive reasoning. It's grasping those unspoken human rules. Like an AI can easily output the exact chemical composition of rain, but without a statistical link explicitly programmed into it, it doesn't have the unspoken common sense to just tell you, hey, bring an umbrella. Which brings us to part three, lacking real-world context, the digital void. Real-world understanding is all about physical context. It's the experiential knowledge of how the world actually operates outside of a digital server. Current AI exists entirely in a digital void. It has never felt the warmth of the sun on its face, or the physical weight of a heavy box, or even the passage of time. All it knows are the digital descriptions of these things. We constantly have to juxtapose digital information, ingesting text, code, 2D images, against the warm, organic reality of physical existence. Experiencing spatial awareness, gravity, time, these things are required to truly understand the world. An AI might paint a literal masterpiece of a sunset, but it has zero experiential understanding of what a sunset actually is in reality. All right, part four, the missing emotional core, a complete lack of feeling.
True emotional intelligence is the capacity to genuinely feel, to empathize, and to truly comprehend human emotions. And it's incredibly important to note here that while current AI can generate text that beautifully mimics empathy, it can say, "I'm so sorry you're going through that." That neon void is still there. There is absolutely no actual emotional capacity. The machine feels nothing. It is literally just predicting the most statistically appropriate words to follow your prompt.
Think about the difference between simulated empathy and genuine emotion. Simulated empathy is purely a mechanical simulation. It relies on algorithms to predict comforting words. Genuine emotion, on the other hand, is an organic understanding that we humans just natively possess. When a friend comforts you, they are sharing your burden. But when an AI comforts you, it's executing a mathematical function. It's not actually feeling or understanding the sentiment. The difference is basically night and day. Moving to part 5, the void in intent, waiting for a prompt. Having goals and intent means having a self-driven purpose. It's about having internal drive and original desires that are completely independent of a user typing a prompt. Without a human sitting there typing a command, these incredibly powerful supercomputers, they just sit perfectly idle. They don't daydream, they don't get bored, they don't suddenly wake up and decide, you know what, I want to learn French today. Because they lack any internal drive, they only act when someone pushes a button. We really can't confuse programmed objectives with true intent. Blindly executing a command and following strict instructions, that's just a highly sophisticated calculator at work. True intent is a conscious entity pursuing a self-directed, meaningful goal. Current AI, it wants absolutely nothing. And finally, part 6, beyond algorithms and data, bridging the gap. So this brings us to a really critical realization. True understanding, it's still missing. For all the incredible utility AI provides us today, the lights are on, but nobody's home. That genuine, deep, human level of understanding just isn't in the equation yet. To fix that, we have to move beyond algorithms, and we have to move beyond data. The future of AI requires a monumental leap. We cannot bridge this gap, the gap of common sense, reality, emotion, and intent, merely by feeding computers more data or building larger algorithms. It's going to require a fundamental rethinking of how machine intelligence is actually structured. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning and keep asking questions. Because we are left with one massive, looming unknown. What is next for AI? If researchers can eventually move beyond just data and actually give these systems common sense, physical grounding, emotion, and true intent, what does that future hold? It completely changes our relationship with technology, doesn't it? Definitely something to think about.